Tonight's show is brought to you by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Braves on Deck. Really appreciate you guys being here tonight. I know we had some technical difficulties 24 hours ago. We tried to get on right as Matt Olson gracefully hit a walk-off home run to win the series against the Tigers. I got to tell you, I spent 3 hours last night trying to figure out everything going on. I think we've got all the technical glitches aside, I hope. I mean, I'm still seeing a few. It's really been that way since I moved 6 months ago. I mean, I've been finding things here and there. Last night, I finally got so sick of it, I stayed up till about 2 in the morning trying to get it solved, and I believe I have. Remember, guys, I'm not an IT guy. I'm a on-air guy, so my limitations are out there when it comes to technology, and I think we've got it solved. I hope we've got it solved, but fingers crossed for tonight. That said, we did come off a loss today for the Atlanta Braves. I was hoping I'd be able to come on here and talk about a sweep. That will not be the case, unfortunately, as the Braves fell 3-2 today against the Tigers, but they win the series 2-1, and that is just yet another series under their belt. They've yet to lose one. I believe there's only one series that they didn't win. It was a 4-game series with the Diamondbacks that they split evenly at 2 games apiece. But again, they've yet to lose a series. They have more wins in baseball than anyone else. They have been on fire this entire season. And it's a really good sign that Ozzie Albies is contributing. Matt Olson is contributing. Austin Riley's coming around. Acuna's coming around. Drake Baldwin has been the dude all year long. It's a good sign that a lot of these guys are getting involved. The offense has been solid. The starting pitching, I'll be honest with you, has been surprisingly positive. I was probably the one vocal guy in the offseason saying, we need a starting pitcher. How can anyone look at what we have and not think that we need a starting pitcher? And so far, the Braves have been able to navigate it here and there. And obviously that comes with using young guys like Didier Fuentes and, as of late, J.R. Ritchie. We'll talk more on him later. But they've really been able to navigate the pitching staff well. And I mentioned earlier this year that a lot of folks were talking about the velocity in spring training for guys like Grant Holmes and Reynaldo Lopez, and my concern was always their durability. What are we going to be in August with a guy like Reynaldo? Well, they've already moved Reynaldo Lopez to the bullpen, which I can't say I'm overly surprised with that. He has been a bullpen arm before. You make your bullpen more valuable, adding him in there, and to add on to that, I don't know that I really want to test Reynaldo's arm much further than I have to, and I think the bullpen is the right spot for him, at least for right now, till we know more that he's going to be around and he's able to pitch every 5 days for 6 or so innings. I like where we're at. I also like the fact that we are using a young guy or a couple of young guys in Didier Fuentes and J.R. Ritchie. I really think J.R. is going to be a staple of the rotation for many years to come, if not starting this year, certainly soon. I think J.R. Ritchie is one of those guys that you could stamp as an every 5th day guy. I could see that. He is as talented as any pitching prospect we've seen in a number of years, and I am excited about what his career is going to be. If you don't remember, we interviewed him here on the channel right after he got drafted. Fred McGriff was the one that called his name, and really a good dude, carries himself like a professional both on and off the mound. Just really solid. Got to see him work down here in Columbus. Liked what I saw. Obviously, he didn't spend a ton of time in AAA either. The Braves believe in this kid. They believe in Didier Fuentes as well. JR is just one that I really think he's been the guy they've planned for, and I think they're going to give him every shot of hanging around as long as possible. You also have the news that Spencer Strider's coming back, which is encouraging. He's looked pretty good in his rehab starts. he's looked really good in his rehab starts, and all in all, I mean, the rotation has been solid. When I'll be honest, I really didn't think it would be up until this point. Had you told me in spring training that the Braves would have more wins in baseball than anyone at this point in the season, I don't want to say I wouldn't have believed you, but I would have been surprised. And it's not because we don't have the guys. It was because really the starting pitching was a concern. The lineup, you were counting on a lot of bounce-back years. You still kind of are with Sean Murphy on the mend, with Ha-Seong Kim coming off of injury as well. We're going to talk about him here in a few minutes. You still are counting on bounce-back years, and the fact that this team is doing what it's doing should be encouraging to every Braves fan out there. What's even more encouraging is that the Mets and the Phillies are at the bottom of the standings, but the Braves have been the team that has represented not only the NL East, but has been the standard bearer for baseball this season. I mean, they have a better record than the Los Angeles Dodgers, spending probably about a fifth of what the Dodgers are spending. And, I mean, that's something to commend everyone on the team for. It's something to, it's a pat on the back for Alex Anthopoulos, because a lot of people were giving him grief this offseason. It's a pat on the back to Walt Weiss in his first season with the Braves. A lot to be excited about as we move forward with him. I mean, he's been getting all kinds of praise, and that's a really good thing to see, especially in his first year. I mean, obviously opinions can always sour. I mean, even today I saw people questioning the bullpen move by Walt Weiss today. And it was the way every single time I saw it on Facebook or in my text messages or whatever, it was, hey, look, I know we're having a good year and all, but Walt Weiss made this crazy move. And I think a lot of people, like to take a small thing and make it a big thing, mountain into a molehill or whatever, molehill into a mountain. I think with Walt Weiss right now, you have to take the positive and move with that, right? Because the pitching staff is limited. Dylan Lee gave you 2 innings yesterday. He's unavailable today. You would have liked to have seen, obviously, the Braves sweep the Tigers, but the fact that you won 2 games against them, you even won a game where Scooble was on the mound, I'll take that. Really, the Braves are rallying around Weiss. They're rallying around a lot of the guys that they should be, right? Austin Riley's coming around. Acuna's coming around. Matt Olson's come around. And guys are performing. Young guy like Drake Baldwin being able to carry the team for the first few weeks of the season. I mean, that's the kind of performance that you're counting out of guys like Olson and Riley and Acuna, and we're getting it out of the reigning Rookie of the Year. I'll take it any way we can get it. And really, when you look at it, and you look at what this team was in spring training, the Braves had a really good spring training, but you also lost Profar, and it seems like we've just forgotten that over the past few weeks, which is nice. But you've kind of just moved on from that very quickly. And that's an encouraging thing as well. So a lot to be excited about. Again, the Braves have yet to lose a series. They're going to carry that into Colorado next. I can't imagine that the Braves won't do well in Colorado. A little concerned about the pitching staff, as I think every team would be. But all in all, I think Colorado is going to be a fun place to go. I'm excited for it. Tyler Kinley, as Ben Ingram said on the radio last night, gets to go back to his house of horrors, because he did come from Colorado. He may or may not have to pitch there. We'll see. But all in all, yeah, a lot to be excited about. The Braves are the best team in baseball, and it doesn't look like anything's going to slow them down anytime soon. You got Strider coming back. You got young guys pitching well in J.R. Ritchie. You have Sean Murphy on the mend, and you have Ha-Seong Kim also coming back sooner rather than later. We're going to talk about Ha-Seong Kim when we come back. Guys, do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you can. Also hit the bell for notifications so that you're updated every time we go live here on the channel. We really would appreciate it. We'll be right back. When we come back, I was at the Clingstones game earlier today. I also spoke with Ha-Seong Kim at his rehab assignment through a translator. When we come back, we're going to hear from Ha-Seong Kim.
Going on. Smith and Opelika.
Enjoy huge savings on our complete lineup of GMC Sierras and GMC Terrains. Full-size and powerful GMC Sierra at $13,500 off.
Buy today and make no payments for 120 days.
Drive away in the stylish GMC Terrain as low as $395 a month. People from all over the USA buy from Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Check us out 24/7 at glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile. Going on right now at Glenn Smith and Opelika.
Both Chevy Silverado and Traverse are ready for you. Get supplier pricing today on all new Chevy Silverado 1500s with up to $13,500 off. Or get a loaded Traverse, the roomy Chevy SUV with third row seating, and enjoy up to $6,000 off.
Buy today and make no payments for 120 days.
Smart people from all over the USA buy from Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Get ready to smile.
All right, guys, welcome back. Like I mentioned before the break, we caught up with Ha-Seong Kim earlier today as he got ready for a doubleheader with the Clingstones and the Biscuits. The Clingstones lost game one. I believe Ha-Seong Kim went 0 for 3. They are in game 2 as we speak. It is tie-dye night, but that is not what you want to hear about. You want to hear about Ha-Seong Kim, and why keep you waiting? You might as well hear from the man himself. Here he is speaking on his rehab stint here in Columbus. Ha-Seong, have you kept up with the team at all? Have you been able to watch any highlights? And did you get to watch last night's walk-off win?
팀 경기들을 좀 챙겨보고 뭐 하이라이트나 좀 봤는지 그리고 어제 그 끝내기 승리도 봤는지요. Yeah, I've been keeping track of the games when I can. If I can't watch the full games, I'm watching the highlights, and the team is hot. The team is hot, very on fire, and it motivates me to prepare myself better to return to the big leagues and contribute. I'm not sure about the exact date about the return to the big leagues, but I think I'll just be able to return when my body feels okay.
Ha-Seong, seeing this team, obviously the most wins in baseball, just how much does that make you want to go back and be there with them?
Yeah, the team's off to a great start. We got a really talented group of guys and great coaching staff as well, great teammates. So I'm just excited to join the team. Yeah, the team's off.
And again, that was Ha-Seong Kim speaking on his rehab stint. He is looking, of course, to come back to the Braves, coming back off a torn tendon in his middle finger after slipping on a sheet of ice. That was back in spring training. Obviously good to see Ha-Seong Kim. A lot of people wondering what's going to happen to this team once Kim comes back. Obviously, you're going to get a bat that you can use in the lineup. You're also going to get a shortstop you can use. But what does that mean for a guy like Mauricio Dubon, who has been one of those surprises that really offensively has taken a big uptick? We asked him about that in spring training, and I think focusing on the one position at shortstop has kind of allowed him to take more swings in the cage and really lock in at the plate as opposed to worrying about playing 7 or 8 different positions. Of course, what is going to happen with Mauricio? Well, a lot of people assuming he's going to move to left field, which could very well happen. Obviously, he is the ultimate utility man. I don't know that Mauricio has the same feel in left field as he does at shortstop. Obviously, who am I to question a guy that won a Gold Glove at the utility position last year? And I'm not. I am curious to see how that transition will go. I think that's the obvious move for Walt Weiss to make is to put your trust in Mauricio's defensive ability in left field. That said, the concern is still, well, how will his offense be after that point, right? Another guy you got to worry about, like Eli White, going to lose some playing time when Ha-Seong Kim comes back. Obviously, Kim is playing for a contract. He is on a 1-year deal. He is playing to boost his free agency, and that is ideal for Ha-Seong Kim. He could be a Brave next year. He could not be. I believe both he and Mauricio are free agents at the end of this year, so we'll have to see how that goes. But all in all, it's a good problem to have. And if you don't need both, excuse me, guys, if you don't need both Mauricio and Ha-Seong Kim, you could always trade one. And depending on what you may get back, I don't know what you would want to trade for. Maybe relievers, maybe a starter. At the point we're at right now, I feel pretty good about our starting rotation. You could always use more. You could always, especially use a frontline starter, but those are hard to come by. So when I think about it at the moment, it's a situation where you do have a lot of guys in the mix. And we knew this when we signed Ha-Seong Kim because we had already traded for Mauricio. I believe it was Nick Allen we traded for Dubon. And you already made that trade. I kind of assumed, well, if they did that, then they're moving on from Ha-Seong Kim. What do I know? The Braves go out and sign Ha-Seong Kim. And we kind of thought that Dubon would just become that ultimate utility man. Obviously, he has to step up when Kim is out. And now you're in a situation where Mauricio's earned a spot. He's earned an everyday spot. Will that everyday spot be left field? We're going to have to wait and see. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about Mauricio Dubon and Ha-Seong Kim. I would like to know. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear from you. We're going to go through your comments. So, again, get your comments in. Really would appreciate it. And, of course, when we come back, we're also going to talk Braves. We're going to talk about the road ahead and talk about really where they've been already. So, again, stay with us. All that's coming up next.
Going on right now at Glenn Smith and Opelika.
Enjoy huge savings on our complete lineup of GMC Sierras and GMC Terrains. Full-size and powerful GMC Sierra at $13,500 off.
Buy today and make no payments for 120 days.
Drive away in the stylish GMC Terrain as low as $395 a month. People from all over the USA buy from Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Check us out 24/7 at glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile. Going on right now at Glenn Smith and Opelika.
Both Chevy Silverado and Traverse are ready for you. Get supplier pricing today on all new Chevy Silverado 1500s with up to $13,500 off. Or get a loaded Traverse, the roomy Chevy SUV with third row seating, and enjoy up to $6,000 off.
Buy today and make no payments for 120 days.
Smart people from all over the USA buy from Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Get ready to smile. Going on right now at Glenn Smith and Opelika.
Enjoy huge savings on our complete lineup of GMC Sierras and GMC Terrains. Full-size and powerful GMC Sierra at $13,500 off.
Buy today and make no payments for 120 days.
Drive away in the stylish GMC Terrain as low as $395 a month. People from all over the USA buy from Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Check us out 24/7 at glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.
All right, guys, we are back. Sorry about that. I was looking at it. I was like, what happened to my microphone? All I did was turn this way. Crazy. But, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you don't know, I've been out for a couple of weeks. I've been battling laryngitis, which if you've never had laryngitis, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I've had no voice. I've had a cough. I've had, you name it, I've had it. Springtime, it is what it is. I've avoided it this long, and it finally caught up to me. But we're moving past it, and we finally can talk. So appreciate you guys tuning in, even if my voice is halfway there. Again, last night, battled some technical difficulties. Glad to see that I think for the most part everything's fine. Still got some things I need to look at to better the overall broadcast. But again, thank you guys for being here. I don't know what's going on. I've had to reset a lot of things. it's almost like the computer got struck by lightning. I'm really unsure as to what happened, but I believe we've got everything situated for the most part, and going forward, we should be good to go. Again, I'm going to look at a few more things, but all in all, I think we are back to normal. I want to thank you guys for coming in tonight as well. Obviously, we're kind of doing late compared to when the Braves played today. It is 9:20 at night. You could be anywhere, and you chose to be here. Really do appreciate that. Let's go ahead and go through your comments. Daniel Barry says, "What's up, guys? Happy Thursday." Sergeant Gibby chimes in and says hello. Corey Carter says hello. Corey Carter says this. He says, J.R. Ritchie really showed me something by giving up the Woods home run right away and bouncing back. That is huge. Yeah, you're right, especially at his age. I will say, first pitch of the majors goes over the fence. It is kind of an opportunity to go, well, it can't get any worse, right? So we're moving on. There was a funny story that came out about that. Apparently, some kind of way they got the ball back at the request of JR's fiance, I believe, so he can look at it every day. Pretty funny. Obviously, he's been a good sport about it, and he did bounce back, and there's a lot to be said for that. Like I said earlier, he carries himself like a real professional, both on the mound and off the field. Really a good kid, by all accounts, not just mine, but I'm excited to see what his career is going to be. I do expect him, again, if not this year, one day soon to be an every fifth day guy. I really think that's coming. Sergeant Gibby says Richie's outing would have just been better if he had not thrown over to first and just focused on the dude at the plate that he had 0-2. Yeah, I mean, hey man, it's his second start in the big leagues. I get it, but all in all, we'll take what we can get. The fact that our starting pitchers have done this well thus far, I'll take it. Let's see. Corey Carter says confidence is contagious, and this is starting to feel like 2023 a bit. I hope it feels more like 2023, but I also hope we finish it like 21, right? So we'll see. I mean, this does feel like a minimal, a great start, but it does feel like the start of something big here in Atlanta once again under a new manager that's really got a fire to win, and not that Ryan Snitker didn't have a fire to win, but there is a new energy, and that does come when you have a new guy. But it could have easily been the wrong guy. The Braves picked the right one in Walt Weiss, at least based on what we've seen so far. I really hope that they would. Back, during the offseason, I was like, look, I mean, I'll be happy with whoever we get, I guess, but I don't see how you could pass over a guy like Walt Weiss, who's been in your clubhouse every day for the past 8 years. I just don't think you can, and they didn't, so credit to him. Jake Hobby says Murphy is back in Seattle probably, and Harris will DH most of the road trip. I can see Murphy being back in Seattle. Harris will be DHing. I would imagine. I mean, they're obviously with his quad soreness, they don't want to push it. I don't blame them. I don't really want them to do that either. So I'm all right with it. Harris has been hot at the plate. Hopefully he'll contribute even as a DH. Obviously that's not ideal for him. He wants to be in the field every day, but no sense in pushing it further than you have to. Corey Carter says, right now I would say that our areas of concern are shortstop and left field. Would love to see Hayden Harris be brought up to bolster the pen. I like Hayden Harris a lot. Got to see him a lot last year. I covered his Futures game appearance. He was solid in that, him and JR both. I could see that if they wanted to do that. I don't know that they necessarily need to, especially when you have Reynaldo in there right now. But we'll have to see. In terms of your areas of concern, I got to tell you, as much as there are areas of concern, I'm not overly concerned. And the reason I say that is kind of what we talked about earlier with Ha-Seong Kim. You have Kim ready to be a shortstop whenever he wants to. If you want to have a quote-unquote competition, you can between him and Mauricio. Although I think it'll likely be Kim. I couldn't see the Braves. Mauricio can play anywhere. Why would you not put him in left and have Kim as your shortstop? To me, that kind of solves it immediately. But it's not necessarily exactly what they'll do either. So we'll have to watch and see. It is a quote-unquote area of concern, but it's not something that I think you need to be concerned about, if that makes sense. Blake says, just wait till Acuna heats up. Yeah, I mean, that's what's crazy about this start to the season is Acuna hadn't really been the guy. It's been a collection of guys. I would say if I had a favorite, it would probably be Drake Baldwin. But it's been Baldwin. It's been Olsen. It's been Mauricio. At times it's been Riley. It's been Ozzy. I mean, a lot of guys are contributing. A lot of guys that's really struggled last year are now contributing. And, it's a good time to be a Braves fan. I am excited to see what Acuna will do once he finally turns the corner, and we'll have to see how it goes. Andy says, headed over to Denver from New York to see my guy Walt and the Braves. Looking for a sweep. Give Walt a hello for me. Also tell him nice form tackle, nice blast double, whatever you want to call it, on Jorge Soler. It's been a good year for Walt, and Andy and I spoke quite a bit in the offseason about that, and we were both hoping that Walt would be the guy, and luckily for us, he was. And man, what a run he's made with it. Corey Carter says, I think if I were him, I would rather have the last ball I threw rather than the first. Yeah, I mean, look, JR's sarcastic enough, I think, to, laugh at having that first ball. And, look, it's a moment in his career. It's, especially since it's the first pitch, you kind of have to laugh at yourself and move on. Luckily for him, it didn't end with 3 home runs allowed. It was only 1, and he was able to eventually get the win. So it's not how you begin, it's how you finish, right? Corey Carter also asks, would I be willing to trade Murphy? Depends on the return, because I don't know what Murphy could really get you right now, and sometimes a player's worth more in your own clubhouse than they are on the trade market. I don't know that Murphy would really get that much because he's had injury problems. It would really depend on the return. You do have him for a team-friendly deal based on what he was worth a few years ago. Has he lived up to those expectations outside of 2023? It's debatable. I would say no. Would I be open to it? Yeah, but it depends on what I'm going to get back or how much salary they're going to take. It would just depend on the deal itself. That said, I'd be willing to trade a lot of people depending on the return, right? If you told me that if I traded Ronald Acuna, I could get Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, and Mookie Betts from the Dodgers at half the prices they're going for, yeah, I might consider it. But it just depends on the return. That said, I wouldn't trade Acuna for a couple of prospects. Not right now. Not until this window for the Braves is closed. And I think a lot of people thought it was already closed. And funny enough, here we are, and we're the best team in baseball. So it's interesting. A lot of people thought we should trade Acuna in the offseason. And what if we had done that at this point? Wouldn't you kind of be scratching your head going, man, what did we do that for? If we had Acuna, we'd really be killing it. So, yeah, we'll see. Karen Chak should be brought up soon. Karen Chak was one of those guys in the offseason when we signed him. It was like, that's interesting. He could be something big. I don't know if he will be, but he's one that in the offseason I kind of circled and went, that guy's going to be a storyline halfway through the year. We're going to have to wait and see. I even asked Alex Anthopoulos, I believe it was the press conference right after we signed Ha-Seong Kim. I got on the Zoom call, and everybody was talking about Ha-Seong Kim. I was the one guy that asked about James Karinchak, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, he is something to think about and look at in your pen. And the bullpen's been overly solid. Obviously today, didn't go their way, but for the most part, they've been pretty solid. Been really happy with what I've seen out of Tyler Kinley. Been really happy with what I've seen out of Ricel. Suarez has been solid. The back half of the pen especially has been really good. And I think guys like Hayden Harris, guys like Karinchak, being those depth pieces in the minors is only going to make us more deep and only going to make us better. So, yeah, I like the fact that they're there. Appreciate you guys dealing with the sickness, by the way. Happy to be here tonight. Happy I can finally talk and talk some baseball with you guys. Corey Carter says, we are lucky right now. We have rich people problems. I would say we don't, because we don't spend as much money as the Mets. They have rich people problems. If anybody has rich people problems, it's the Mets and arguably the Phillies too. But the Mets, the second biggest payroll in baseball, and where are they at? Frank the Tank is probably on life support somewhere. Pray for my boy, honestly, and that's coming from me right now, being as sick as I am, because if I was a Mets fan, I would be fuming over what our team looks like. I mean, I would be absolutely sick. Luckily, I'm not. Let's see. Jake Hobby says Riley hopes Riley heats up too. He's Jake Hobby says Riley is terrible, as Charles Barkley would say. He's not terrible. He's just struggling. And that happens. I think he'll turn it around. And when he's had some signs where he was turning things around. I literally said 2 weeks ago, right before I got this, I said that, again, 2 weeks ago, Riley hit a double the night before. I was like, look, and it was the other way. And that's a sign when Riley's doing that. That's a sign that he's about to turn it on. And the next day he hit a homer, and I was like, oh man, he's about to turn it on, and turn it up a notch and be the Riley we need. And obviously that hasn't been the case thus far, but I still think it certainly could be and will be at some point. Corey Carter says, totally agree on Murphy. I'd be open to trading him, but I'm not desperate. He's a good defensive catcher who can provide veteran depth that is healthy for the pitching staff. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the pitchers love having Murphy behind the plate. Obviously, Baldwin has been a nice pickup, but just because you have a Baldwin doesn't mean you don't need Murphy, right? Just because you have a guy like Baldwin who's come out of nowhere and, been a veteran beyond his years doesn't mean you don't need a Murphy who can be really solid defensively, can be solid offensively when healthy. Doesn't mean you don't need a guy like that. Could he be better? Should he be better according to what we're paying him? Yeah, but, that's the risk you take when you sign the contracts. So all in all, I'm not desperate to trade Sean Murphy. It's not a situation. I don't want to make any comparisons, but it's not a B.J. Upton situation. It's not a B.J. Upton situation where it's like, oh my gosh, can anybody take this guy off our hands? It's not a situation like that. It's more of just like, yeah, look, if the right deal came along and, he could use a change of scenery maybe, and we got a good return out of it, yeah, I'd be open to it. But, I mean, the likelihood of that happening, I think, is slim. I think, if anything, Murphy would be one of those that you add to a trade, not so much one that you lead with. It'd be like, all right, we're going to trade, I don't know. I mean, we don't want to trade anyone away, right? We might trade a Shawver or a Didier Fuentes, and we're like, all right, well, hey, we'll bolster this trade with Sean Murphy if you'll give us this and this and this, right? It may be one of those, but I don't think it's a desperation thing. Let's see. Corey Carter says Double-A is being vindicated right now for his offseason. Yeah, I mean, look, I've been the one guy over the years that's like, Double-A knows what he's doing, but even I, this offseason, was like, we didn't add anybody. We didn't get a starter. Yeah, we got Suarez, and that's great for the bullpen, but I was disappointed. And now that I look at it, it's like, man, where was my head? Because in my mind, it's like, all right, you don't got Strider to start the season. Now you don't got Schwellenbach. I thought we needed a starter before then, and we didn't do that. And it's like, we're going to start the year, and we really had no idea what our rotation is going to be. And it tells you how much we know here on the outside. Yeah, they've been really solid. I mean, imagine what happens when you get Waldrop back, when you get Shawver back. I mean, when those guys come back, you're going to really have a ton of depth, and Schwellenbach for that matter. You're going to have a ton of depth in the rotation if you want it there. And maybe, some of those guys don't come back the same, but they're solid relievers. I think Schwellenbach will be a starter, but, guys like Waldrop, guys like Shawver that haven't had a ton of time in the league could very well, move to the pen and be elite relievers if you want them to be. But we'll see. Corey Carter also says, seems like Olsen is finally settling in and coming out of the shadow of Freddie. Yeah, I got to tell you, I don't really think about Freddie Freeman anymore. I mean, not in the same sense, right? Like, I know, I appreciate what he did in the Braves uniform. But I've moved past the comparisons a long time ago. To me, we should have moved past that when Olsen got the franchise record for home runs in a single season. Obviously I understand it because of the way it went down, because we could have signed Freddie in theory and we didn't, and we got Olsen, and everybody's going to measure him to Freddie. And that's great. And that's great conversation. It's good for, YouTube shorts and videos and all that. I have just never wanted to buy into it because they are two different people, and they're two different players. They're two different people. They don't operate the same way, and they're two very different players. Freddie's more of an average guy. Olsen, obviously, more of a home run guy, power guy, and I'm okay with either one. I will say that I think Olsen is going to give you more years on the back end, and I think that's what's really going to allow him to settle in. To me, he should have settled in immediately. I mean, he's home. And we'll have to see. Oh, the Hawks stunk it up. Yeah, they stunk it up the other night, too. I don't have a lot of faith in them going forward. I haven't seen the result. If you want to put the score in there, that'd help me a lot because I would like to know. I've been out and about and went to a minor league game tonight and, been kind of busy. But, yeah, I probably should know what the Hawks score was. Put that in the chat for me when you can, Jake. Corey Carter wants to know, have I heard anything on Joe Jimenez? I have not. That guy has been very, very quiet. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I haven't heard anything. It's kind of sad. I mean, you forget Jimenez is still a Brave, but we'll see. Yikes. By 40. Good night. Yeah, 136-84. Well, good luck to the Knicks in the next round, I guess. I mean, I think there's still one more game, but yeah, yikes. Braves fan 43 says, I really want Ha-Seong Kim to rehab with the Stripers as well because I need to support my fellow Korean. Yeah, I'm sure that would be good. I don't think they'll do that. I mean, they don't typically rotate them. I mean, they could if it goes for longer than a week and the Clingstones go on the road and the Stripers are at home, or maybe the Emperors are at home. They may keep them, in the state lines. But we'll see. Ben Miller says, will Kim start? He's talking about Ha-Seong Kim. Ben Miller, if you're the Ben Miller I think you are, let me know. But good to hear from you if you are. I would say Kim's going to be the guy once he's healthy. I think he'll be your starting shortstop. Mauricio likely will be your left fielder every day. I think he's earned a spot somewhere. Mauricio can play anywhere. And it could be a competition, but to me, why waste Kim by not playing him if you have a guy in Mauricio that can technically play anywhere and still potentially give you good numbers? So I think Kim will be the starting shortstop. And we'll go from there. Yeah, Kimmy Farms forever. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. Corey Carter. By the way, Kimmy Farms is a local Christmas tree farm that I've done some work at over the years, and they're good folks over there. If you need a Christmas tree, they're the place to go. I can tell you that, especially in the city of Columbus. Corey Carter says, would it be nice to have Langoliers and Freddie getting into the part of their careers where Olsen should be our producing Freddie and the trade starts paying off. Should be overproducing Freddie and the trade starts paying off. I mean, I think the trade has already started paying off. Olsen is a terrific player regardless of what Freddie's doing. Freddie has had good moments in the spotlight since he left, and I'm happy for him. He is going to be in the Hall of Fame, but I think what you're going to see is in about 2 or 3 years, Freddie's not going to be able to do what he's doing right now. Unless he's, completely different. He's a different kind of human being, and he could be. But age is real, and, we'll have to see how it goes. But I think Olsen is already kind of cementing his own legacy and establishing who he is. And that's really what's important to me. Not so much what Freddie's doing. I wish him well. As long as he's not playing against the Braves, I wish him well. But I don't like to compare them two like that. But I do think that the Braves made the move with what you have in mind, which is, well, I mean, could we get a guy that is going to carry us beyond what Freddie could do, that's going to give us good numbers every year and really, make this make sense of not signing Freddie? And I think they did that. I mean, they got the best option available, not named Freddie Freeman. And I think they're equal players when they're at their best. And that's all that you could have really asked for the Braves, in my opinion. But, we'll see. The Hawks at one point trailed 103-45. They trailed by 58 points. Yikes. Braves fan 43 asks, did I go to the Brian Snitker Hall of Fame game against the Phillies on Saturday? I did not. I couldn't be there. I wouldn't have been much to be with at that point. My voice was absolutely toast. At that point, I had nothing. I had no power in my vocal cords whatsoever. I sounded like, those commercials, the ones I'm talking about. That's what I sounded like, and it just was not good. I had no business being on TV. I had to take a sick day or two purely because I could not talk. It was rough, so I wouldn't have been much company there, I don't think. But happy for Snit, well-deserved. I know there's a lot of people out there that like to hate on Brian Snitker. I am not one of those people. I think he's certainly deserving of the Braves Hall of Fame. He is a Braves World Series champion. He is a Brave for life, nearly 50 years in the Braves organization. And if that doesn't deserve a Hall of Fame induction, I don't know what does. So happy for him, happy for his family. Glad to see that the Mets game got rained out and Troy Snitker could make the way down. Not that he was missing much anyway. Glad that he could be there, and happy for him. And he says, Knicks had the largest halftime lead in NBA history. Jake Hobby replies to that and said, had to give Mets fans something. Yeah, I don't know if Frank the Tank is a Knicks fan. I hope he is tonight, because I am worried about Frank the Tank. I am genuinely concerned about his mental health and where he goes from here when it comes to the New York Mets. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, the Mets are at the bottom of the NL East, which is very nice to see. So are the Phillies. And the Braves kind of continue to widen the lead there. Even with the loss today, they've yet to lose a series. A lot to be excited about, and very happy about it. Braves fan 43 says, I enjoyed the Snit Hall of Fame ceremony and the speech. Yeah, all around great to see. Good to see some friends of mine on the stage, and Leo Mazzoni and a few others. Terry Pendleton, we've interviewed on the channel. Always good to see them get honored alongside new inductees. Tim Hudson was there. Chipper was there. Andrew was there. And they should have been, right? I mean, Ralph Garr was there. A lot of guys coming to support Brian Snitker. I wish we could have seen Bobby Cox there. Obviously, with his health, I understand it. That would have been great if we could have got Bobby there. But all in all, I thought it was great. Even with the situation with the weather where they had to move it inside as opposed to on the field, still very special. And obviously, Snit deserves every bit of praise he's getting here lately. He also says the Braves need to DFA Jose Suarez because he gave 4 runs in the 10th inning that day and a couple of runs today. Yeah, I mean, not great for sure. Jose Suarez is not, I don't think he's a permanent fixture in the pen. I don't know if they'll DFA him today, but I don't think he's a permanent fixture. Jake Hobby says, Ed Mangan also honored today. He retired. I saw that on Braves Twitter. I commented, I believe it's got a few likes on there as well. I commented that the Braves need to build the statue of Ed Mangan. That guy put the work in for years. He has been the guy behind making the field look the way it does, which if you've ever tried to make your lawn look like what the Braves Stadium looks like, you know how hard that is to do day in, day out. Ed Mangan was able to do it for quite a while. I believe 30 years, if I'm not mistaken, maybe more. And credit to that dude. I mean, perfect every time I've ever gone, just about. Turner Field and Truist, I mean, they both have looked spectacular just about every time I've been there, even when they shouldn't, if that makes sense, weather conditions and all of that. So, yeah, congrats to Ed Megan on a well-deserved retirement. Hopefully he's taught somebody how to take care of the field. We'll have to wait and see how that goes in the transitional period. Braves fans 43, I know who you are. I've already picked up on it, I think. Season ticket holder with the Stripers, attending a lot of Braves events. I know exactly who you are, brother. Good to hear from you. And again, congrats to Ed Mangan, as you say it. Guys, we're going to wrap it up there. I don't know how much more my voice can do. We've held on strong for the most part during this live stream. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to have more content drop soon. I got some interviews potentially lined up. I'm going to have to do some travel, but I'm excited for them. They're names that you will know, and if you don't know, you should know, which is exactly why you should watch them. You need to educate yourself, and they're going to be fun to watch. So I'm excited for those to happen, excited for those to drop. I'm not going to drop any names just yet, but just know they are going to be very exciting when you do get to see them. So that said, guys, thank you so much. We will see you next time here at On Deck. Before you go, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay updated with everything going on here at On Deck. We'll catch you later.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.